welcome to Real Estate Unleashed. I am Regan Hildebrand, and you can find me on social media at Realtor Regan.
And I am Bridget Quinn. You can find me on social media, B Quinn Realtor. We're back at it again today.
We're back at it. Last episode, we talked about the red flags of real estate, and you have one of the green flag.
Yes, trust me, I'm a Jedi. I know.
I didn't know at first if it was St. Patrick's Day and I missed something.
No, trust me, a Jedi I am.
Yes, a Jedi of real estate.
Trust me, a green flag recognizer I am.
That's right. We like green in real estate. We even have our little Geico mascot here.
Shout out Matthew Young Insurance Company.
That's right. Trusted partner. But yeah, we like green in real estate, not just for the money side of it, right?
Right.
We like green because green means go, keep on moving. It doesn't cause us to pump the brakes like we talked about last episode. Green is good.
Green is always good.
Yeah, so it's a little bit like more upbeat time to talk about the things that make us excited when we see those little indicators in real estate, the green flags.
The green flags.
Yeah. And we were kind of talking about this after the last episode about what gets us going when we see something we like a lot in real estate.
Sure.
And what would you say is like, or let's just put it in this way. If you're working with a buyer, what's the first green flag you want to see?
The obvious one is I want to see a buyer that comes to me and say, hey, I'm ready to look for a house. Here's my pre-approval. I'm approved for X amount of money. And it's with a decent lender that's not just a www website person.
Yeah.
And they're ready to go. So they've done their homework. They know how much they can afford, how much buying power they have. And they know what they want, and they can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think the key thing you touched on there was knowing. Like, you know how much, you know your buying power.
Right.
You know what you want.
Right.
You know you're ready to go. And everyone else knows you're ready to go too. Right. Including the lender and us.
You just hit the ground running versus, hey, let's go look at houses. Oh, wait a minute. Now I got to see if I'm approved. Oh, I can't afford that because of whatever.
Yeah.
And you got to backtrack.
Yeah, suddenly then you're pumping the brakes. But yeah, to really get going in real estate, to slam on the gas means you've got some background, some homework done ahead of time.
Right.
And a lot of times people say, well, I don't know where to get started to know when to go.
You call us first and say, hey, I'm looking to start a home search. Help me. What do I do first?
We'll put you in contact with the right person to kind of set the stage for success.
Right.
The worst thing, like you just mentioned, is getting going and then having to stop. And we've already touched
Nobody
the red
likes
flags,
shifting gears or like going somewhere that they didn't intend to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and obviously anything can happen that can derail stuff unexpectedly, but setting the stage for success.
That's going way back to the Expect the Unexpected episode.
Yeah. We don't want to like end up having to do that for everybody, so we'd much rather have everything set up for success to begin with.
For sure.
Yeah, and so green flags for the pre-approval process, huge. Just having everything.
That's the biggest one for the buyers. Do you know what I mean? There's some other stuff along the way of like what to look for when you're looking for houses, but I would say that's the big one on the buy side. There's more. I would say that there's more for the property itself or for the selling side.
Yeah, and for sellers, like when you talk about switching that to what's a green flag for sellers, if we're working with you to sell your property, the big green flags that we want to see going in as the agent is, have you been doing the maintenance along the way? Just the routine maintenance, keep everything up to par. Servicing the AC.
Well, you have to in this market now. It's not just a list it and automatically sell it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Buyers expect that the home's going to be cared for.
Right.
Otherwise, they have more options now than they did a year or two ago.
For sure. And
they can take their time to find one that is well cared for. So, yeah, is the roof, over 15 years old? Does it need to be replaced? AC's been serviced. Flooring's been taken care of and or replaced as needed.
Does it just look neat and tidy?
Just cleaned up, yeah.
Even if something is a defect, does it still look okay, or is it priced accordingly because of that known issue. Do you know?
Yeah, well, and I think that's another piece of it too. Like, even if you have stuff that you really can't take care of before going active as a listing, has the home at least been priced correctly? And there's a lot that goes into that, to creating that green flag. Working with an agent who can look at the comparable sales to get you that right pricing,
Right.
and to be fair about it. Just
Sure.
to be
Well,
competitive.
you got to be reasonable. You can't just list it, just whatever, shoot for the stars.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you're looking at that, if it is priced accordingly, and all that maintenance has been kept up, and the home's, like you said, clutter free, just do the best you can to
Yep.
make it open. That's a big set of green flags.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, you're going to draw interest from a lot of buyers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going to get the traction, and you can then use that as leverage to get that top dollar still.
Yeah, and you and I worked that open house not too long ago down in Waxhaw, North Carolina, close to Charlotte. Great little community. And we talked about that. That house, the sellers took their time to do some
Yep.
fresh paint,
Right.
to change out a few things that's just, maybe a couple faucets here or there, just some little stuff.
It looked really nice. I mean,
Yeah,
besides being, the pluses before you even walked to the house, it was already in a good area. It's a well-desired community. Everything like that already had the stuff going for it. But they took the time inside to make it as best as it could possibly be show ready.
yeah, they kept up with the standards that were around them too. Both for look and feel, but also for the maintenance of the home, inside
Right.
and out. And the feedback that we got because of that from the people that walked in reflected that.
Right. Well, and I say, like, in that community, because it was a larger house and it was a smaller lot acreage size, they knew that would be the probably the bad feedback, so to speak, is that the yard side maybe wasn't what people were looking for. But the inside and even the outside of the house itself spoke
Yeah.
measures, to kind of compensate for some of that.
Right. And I think that's the thing that people get tripped up about. You can create a wow factor in a home even if you have some negatives.
Sure.
You can distract from those negatives by creating these green
or
flags.
you can make it not quite as
noticeable. Yeah, it
Noticeable,
doesn't stand
yeah.
out because everything else has been so well taken care of, and on point.
chef's kiss.
So yeah, and that's what, for a seller, that's how you get ready for success, and you get an offer in the first weekend.
Sure.
Or multiple offers, even better.
Especially now when houses are starting to be on the market not a long time, but longer than those
It's not a
days
blink
or
of
a
an eye.
week or
Yeah,
So
precisely. And I think that's the big green flags that we look for on both those sides. But then when we are showing properties to those buyers, as you mentioned a second ago, we go out with and we talked about this on the last episode, particular eyes on things. Like, we're looking for.
well, as I say, we do.
Yeah.
Am I seeing cracks? Am I doing the foundation? Do I see any leaks? Has it been maintained as best as I can see?
Yeah. And we're looking for the bad stuff because we want to have a very objective look on
Sure.
it. But when we see the good stuff, we can then point that out to people very proudly,
Sure.
right? We were talking about it before we even go into houses, like just the photos.
The photos. You know how I feel about the photos.
Get your little soapbox here.
Well, again, I still see people that are not using professional photos for the value of the money of what you get with them.
Right. And
I don't want to see your fingertips in a selfie that you take on a house that's $400,000 or $500,000. Like,
yeah.
spend the $200, get professional photos, put all the toilet seat lids down,
Yeah.
make it look nice.
There's a big green flag for me when I see, just in the listing photos, that the home is being presented well before I even set foot in it. Because then I know that for my buyers, it's going to be a property that should not be a waste of their time.
Right.
Right? Like, they're not going to run into unexpected surprises
Right.
as likely. But yeah, we look for that. But so we scope things out ahead of time on the listing
As best as we can.
as best we can. The thing that I look for as a big green flag too, that I get excited about, is a listing agent, the name that I recognize as being like a solid person. I've worked with them in the past. They have a stellar reputation inside of our little circles.
Yep.
Things like that.
Sure.
So I want to go out and I want to work with somebody across the aisle that I know is going to be just as passionate as we are.
Well, somebody's going to get the job done, or even if you haven't worked with them before, that you can, maybe I've worked with them, or somebody else that by their reputation that they're, as you say, that they're solid to work with, and you don't have to worry about drama or the politics of it, or somebody that's just unreasonable or not doing their due diligence and their duties as an agent.
The cooperating, so we call it, the cooperating broker. But there's a reason for that. We cooperate to get this deal done. Yeah.
As I say, this should be a win-win. It's not a me against them.
Yeah, it's not like we're not in a battle usually. We don't want to be.
No.
We'll fight for our clients all day long.
Ain't got time for that.
Yeah, we don't get. Nobody got time for that. But
insert meme.
Insert meme. We want to see green flags. We want
all day long.
Yeah, it's do we like to find good examples to tell us stories? Sure, but I'd rather have a good example of like a positive than a negative.
Absolutely. We want to see enough green flags that it mitigates maybe the red flag to be, instead of red, maybe it's just a caution, or as you say, not a giant flag that's flying down like Concord Mills by the RVs. You don't want to see that huge flag flying,
No. You want to see enough green flags that it makes you give you a warm, fuzzy feeling that you can share with the buyers.
We like the warm fuzzies.
Warm fuzzies. Correct. And we get a warm fuzzy also when we get likes, comments, and subscribes. Yeah.
Always.
So let us know in the comments what you see as a green flag, or what you want to see as a green flag.
Yeah, what makes the property, or the whole transaction just 2 thumbs up, ready to go? What makes you want to put that offer in?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that little bell notification to get notifications when we post new videos. And I am Regan Hildebrand with the Home Team Realty Group.
And I am Bridget Quinn, also with the Home Team Realty Group. And we'll catch you next time.